Alright, everybody, welcome to another episode of the Sunday Sketch. I had to do a quick mic check before I got started because there was something going on. I had to unplug like my whole computer recently, so just making sure the sound got set up again properly. No, I don't want to be in precision mode. Place your pen on the Wacom tablet surface to enable precision mode. Okay, well, I don't want precision mode. Anyway, let's get on with it, shall we? And I am going to go ahead and just keep working on my Ashen Spider-Man deal. Let's see, where are you? Oh boy. Huh. Well, do I... Wow, that's embarrassing. Okay, well, this is what happens when you don't, save your files. I thought I had him saved. Do not have him saved. Okay, well, so what to work on? Wow, that's real embarrassing. Sorry about that, guys. I mean, I can rebuild. I can probably rebuild from this. I made the thumbnail, and I'm like, oh, okay, this'll be good. This'll be fine. I just cropped it and did some background stuff to make the thumbnail for last week's mashup sketch. And they're all merged layers, of course they are. But I didn't. I guess I didn't save in the right format. Okay. That's real embarrassing. Always, always save often. Okay, so we're gonna go. Speaking of which, finally saw the new trailer for Spider-Man: Homecoming, and holy crap, Michael Keaton is the Vulture? I had no idea. Yeah, that's news to me. Of course, I haven't been following it real closely, so I guess that's not too unusual. Okay, so how are we gonna do this? Let's take our gray, and we're just gonna quickly sketch out what we can. This is gonna be a shoulder pad armor, so that's gonna be up like that, raised like that, right? And we're gonna do the scarf, and that's gonna come over like that. And we're just gonna trace over our own work. Awesome. right in here. And his butt is like right there. And his other leg comes down here. I'm just gonna try and quickly rebuild as much of this as I can. Okay, and then his other arm. That's probably already his bicep there. And then the big old Captain America shield from there. Oh boy. Yep, this is gonna be fun. Okay. So, got a base sketch, and I think just to save on time, I'm gonna go straight into colors. Blocking out the colors. I was gonna grayscale and color over it, because that's, I think, just a slightly better way of doing it. But I'm gonna go ahead and take desaturated colors, because of course, you know, Dark Souls is that way. And I'm gonna do it real loose, and I think it's gonna need a bit darker blue than that. There we go. And again, nice, fairly desaturated color. And we're just doing basic blocking in of where the blue is gonna be, making sure not to, you know, and I had all my layers labeled and everything. Oh well. Being careful not to overlap too much. There we go. And then of course the web shooter gauntlet that I gotta work out again. That's another thing. So that's about all of the blue sections. Oh, except for the on the boots, which have also been edited. So gotta make sure I work that in. And now we're gonna do the same for the red. And again, just a nice, fairly desaturated red, but I'm gonna do it a bit lighter. It's gonna end up looking kind of brown out here, actually. But I think that's fine. And I might actually end up desaturating it even more than this. because Dark Souls kind of demands it. Block all this in. Careful not to forget that I also extended this out, or down rather. Just gotta make sure that I get that in. Alright. Yeah, let's desaturate that a little more. Tonal correction. Oops, that's brightness and contrast. Slip of the hand. Tonal correction, hue. And of course I did that. Saturation, desat that a little more. A little more. There we go. Now it's almost a gray, but you can barely see a little bit of red on it. That, I think, is more Dark Souls color. Personally, I think that. Okay. So, the next step that we're going to take in this journey of reconstructing Spider-Man, gotta do the gray, because I'm gonna do the gray for the armor. Because he's got this big old shoulder piece. And that's just all gonna be that gray. Nice dark metal. And I'll try to get it, you know, even more metalled up texture-wise by doing some work on that. But I wanted to do like a dark, like metal-y, like gray color. And then the gauntlet, and then I gave him that belt buckle, which goes here. Sort of belt shape. And then of course the shoulder pad over here. Okay. Now we're gonna you can still tell a bit of the body structure just from the from that sketch. So now I'm gonna go ahead and take a light and shadow to it. Oh, so of course the big dark gray, because I don't think I'm gonna give him the Captain America shield. I think I'm gonna give him a different shield, but just have it the same shape, maybe. Well, I might change my mind and do the Captain America shield because it's a pretty iconic pose now. So, but we'll see. That'll be You'll be up in the air, Mister Round Shield disc thingy that is at the wrong angle. Let me just fix that. Shield actually comes down this way, like that. And then we paint that in. There we go. Okay. Yes, that's much better. No, that's not much better. It actually needs to be, the edge of the shield needs to be directly over his bicep. If judging from this picture, always go with the source material. It's actually closer to something like that. And also that looks like just a more comfortable place to hold a shield, to be honest. You know? Because then his arm would be more in the center of the shield, which makes a lot more sense. Okay, so now that I've got my basic shapes blocked in, my basic colors blocked in, I'm going to go ahead and take my lights and shadows to it. And for that, I'm just going to, and then I'll detail after. For that, we're going to do an overlay layer. And we're just going to kind of build up these shadows. And we're going to have the light from behind him. So that'll provide should provide a nice contrast when we get the flames going. Which we'll have to probably adjust the light for that. Or I'll just take it into account now. It's fine. This whole thing. And there we go. A nice Kermit the Frog. I was told never to use white or black, as I mentioned before in some other videos, but just because of the way Dark Souls is, I feel like it's appropriate. Because it is very grayscale, very stark differences to things. And of course, when we do that nice metal shine, you gotta make sure that you never want to have the shiny bit on the end, on the very edge, like I did with Spider-Man's, main bits, because you want to have that like shiny look. So you get the metal a little further back, or the shine on the metal a little further back. And it helps shape the metal too. Add some definition. And then we're gonna tone that back. Okay, so now that we've added some definition to that, there we go. I'm gonna go ahead and clean up the edges a bit. That's why I like to add the lights and shadows, because it helps me define the shapes. And then from that, I can help define the shapes further by just coming back in and cleaning up, like around Spider-Man's head. That was a little bit of a mess. Not that I don't like it messy sometimes, but it needs to be like a deliberate mess, you know? Needs to be a mess on purpose. Okay. Now, before we build up any more lights and shadows, and in fact, we can come in here and make the shadows, the lights and shadows, even lighter. Now that we've got it, mostly cleaned up, in a good place, I think, where we want it to be. We can come in and add those neat Dark Souls lines, the Ashen flame effect that we had going on from last time. Build that in. So, gonna go ahead and get started on that. Well, first I should do the detail on his. Oh, you know what? Let's do the lines in that black. Well, yeah, we'll do it in black or a darker gray anyway. To get the detail on his face and on the webs, and then we'll do the flames on top of that. I think is what we'll do. So for this, we're going to take this thumbnail that I should have saved properly the first time, and actually that's pretty good, pretty darn good. But we're going to go ahead and build up from this, and that's actually applying directly to the thumbnail, which we don't want. There we go. And we're going to learn from our mistake last time of applying the white on the eye and then the black. We're going to give the basic shape of the eye socket first. And then build up from there. We're going to go ahead and do the web lines with some small alterations. Making sure to try and match the contour of the head. And I realized something as I was talking about Beauty and the Beast that one time when I was doing that Beast picture, and I do tend to review things. I wasn't sure, I never really intended this to become a review style show, but I do tend to talk about whatever I'm drawing, right? So I was wondering if that was content that interests you guys. I could do I could do more of it. If you guys want, like I've been playing the garbage fire that is Mass Effect Andromeda lately, and I've actually been having quite a bit of fun with it. But I do, like, everybody knows the problems with that game by now, I'm sure. So, and today I did want to draw something from that game, but I wasn't sure. I know I fell a little, I dropped the ball a little on the whole Spider-Man thing, so I wanted to try and get caught up with you guys, because I did want to do a two-part episode with Spider-Man. But so, anyways, I guess the question is, um, should I keep commenting on the stuff I'm drawing? I mean, I'm gonna keep commenting on the stuff I'm drawing, but would you like to see me comment on a particular game or movie or what have you? And of course I'll draw from that topic. So if you want me to talk about Pocahontas, I'll draw Pocahontas. I mean, that's a weird thing to talk about, but I'll do it. I'll do it for you guys. Because that is something that I think could be fun. In any case, if you want to see that, if you don't want to see that, think it's crazy, go ahead and drop a comment on what you would or would not like to see me talk about next. We're going to clear this out because I think I made his head a little bit bigger this time around, because it comes out all the way to here. Yeah, that's something that I probably... No, you know what? We're just going to clean that up after. Okay, so now web patterns. And obviously not all of them are going to be flaming. I made a lot of flaming web patterns last time. Don't want to fall into that same trap. Because the flames, and I say trap because, it's tempting to just make all of the patterns, on fire, and it just make so much flame and stuff. But I'm not going to say important not to do that, but Dark Souls has this very thematic kind of way. I want to say thematic kind of way of doing it. So the flames get closer to a central point. So that's what I'm going to aim for, is to do that same style, a bit of justice. And of course you have your web patterns here. And your web patterns on the arms. And of course, as always, if you want to see, this is the fan art fusion from last month, just continued. Because it is a new month. Happy April, everyone. I hope you survived April Fool's all right. And I'm going to go ahead and not do the boots, though, because I really like the spider pattern on Spider-Man's boots. And I think the armor is enough to set it apart from plain old Spider-Man. And then he's actually got an interesting, his web pattern from lower on the boot actually continues higher up. And then the bottom of the shoe is right there. Gotta do a little bit of editing on that just because of the way that turned out versus, or the way the blocking turned out. But again, that's part of the process. There we go. And then these are going to extend. All the way down here. Because we're making him a little loincloth thing. Looking pretty Spider-Man so far. I'm gonna take this out. And we're just gonna turn this into an overlay. Fade it out just a smidge so it picks up on the, well, we could alternatively move it beneath the lights and shadows, but because it's so dark it doesn't really pick them up as well. And that's gonna be that. Yeah. I dig it. Okay. Lights behind him, he's got his spider markings and everything. So next step is to add the effects and then do some more lights and shadows. And I think, let's see what my runtime is. Might be time to wrap this up. Runtime is... Oh, 40. Okay, we're still good. Okay, so cool. I'll keep working on it. Oh, right, before I do anything, I gotta fix that, foot issue. Because his foot actually does more of a this thing in this particular pose. Like a straight on thing. And then of course we gotta change the lights and shadows. To match. There we go. That's better. That foot looks a little small, but according to my reference material, it kind of does that. Because his ankle is actually like up here, and so his foot's like bending kind of funny. Which is fine, you know, I suppose. Alright. On with the show. So, we are going to put the major flaming points the same place they were before, which is, of course, on the spider and on his right eye. Those are going to be the primary flamey bits. And then we'll do secondary from that. So, first, we're going to take this nice dark red. Right? Yeah, that's a good one. Maybe a little desaturated. Yeah, there we go. That's better. Okay, we're going to take this nice dark red, and we're going to go over the top of everything. Out to a certain, you know, amount from the thing. So I think what we'll actually do is we'll go ahead and mark kind of a radius. So this is the center point, and we want it to come out and catch that whole area. Same thing here. This is the center point. Catch that whole area. Venn diagram that shield. That stuff. The things, maybe a little bit larger Venn diagram. Okay, so those are going to be the major flamey points. And then we're going to try and blend everything into those. So, I should change that color so that we don't get it confused. There we go. Bright green. Doesn't look like fire at all. Alright. So, now we take this and we run with it. And Everything the light touches is our kingdom. What about that shadowy place? Didn't I just say everything the light touches? Okay, the shadowy place, does the light touch there? Well, no. Okay then. Honestly, Simba, come on. Sorry, that's a completely separate rant. I should probably color that scarf a different color too. Just to add more definition. And then we're actually going to let this kind of trail off a little asymmetrically there. We want to have little points where the flame is just kind of barely holding on. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Is clean up around the boot. Because that's going to end up looking more like that. There we go. Okay, next we're going to come back to this layer. Yes, this layer right here. And we're going to come in with a, let's say, a bright blue. And we're going to make a second circle, which is going to be our next level that the fire will radiate out to from the center. And then based on our original, this is gonna be a brighter red, which I am perfectly fine with. In fact, it's going to be a very bright red, but not the brightest of reds. And we are gonna layer this. And we're gonna make sure that just a little bit of the darker color remains visible. And again, try to make sure it kind of trails off unevenly. Still kind of holds on in a few spots. And then this one's interesting because the eye actually falls a little bit outside of where the bright red is going to be. So we're going to try and kind of go with the curve of the head and kind of fade it off a little bit like that. And then get those webs from the eye so it looks like, yeah. So it looks like, yeah, that's a sentence. It's a complete sentence in the English language. Alright, and then just a little bit around the, actually these go, we don't want to go outside of where we put our dark red. But we definitely do want to accentuate the reds. Speaking of red, saw Power Rangers, not drawing it now, but I might draw, I don't know, I don't really feel like drawing anything from Power Rangers, unless you guys really want me to, but like, they did some weird stuff. And I saw Power Rangers, and I always wanted to be a Power Ranger as a kid. Still kind of do as an adult, honestly. Um, but I was like, well, yeah, this is about what I expect a modern Power Rangers to be like. I think it's very close. Like, I put it up there with like one of the Transformers movies or whatever. Which I think is not to say that the Transformers movies are necessarily good or great, but I think they do the job that they were intended to do. Um, Same with Power Rangers. Great movie? Nah. We're not kidding ourselves here, but it was fun to watch, especially as a fan of grown up. Okay. So next target ring will be bright pink. Yeah, bright pink. And again, we're going out from the center, which is like here. And we're just gonna make a circle, which is like that. And I realize my circles kind of radiate unevenly, but whatever. I'm gonna do that. Actually, make it a real small circle. Well, small-ish. Okay, gonna come back here. We're gonna take the bright orange. And we're gonna apply the bright orange. And again, keeping everything nice and loose. Oop, that's a little too far out. Making it cast a little bit of itself. Just to add that tiny, tiny extra touch. It's all about the extra touches. Because that'll help give it the impression that the intersections on the web are actually raised a bit. That'll help with that. And again, we don't want to completely overlap the red because we need it to help give it that fiery look. So being careful not to overlap too much. Out that far. Okay, next we had a layer of the exact same, I believe. Let's take a look. Yeah. So we have a layer of the same in a soft that's a bit much. We still want that glow, but maybe we make it a bit smaller. At least on the web lines. This helps give it that glow look. And again, not everywhere, just enough to make it pop. Of course, a big old glow on the eye, because that's a source. And then also on the abdomen there. And then we're gonna reduce it just a little so we can see the other colors through it. And let's take off the rings, because I think we're basically done with that now. We'll give it that smoky on fire feel, or that glowy on fire feel, kindled and everything. Add add that little bit of glow. Maybe a little less glow. That's good. Okay, so we have a little less glow, we got all that, and now we add the bright yellow. Back with our brush. Oh my gosh. I've been watching Bob Ross too. Anyway. Bright yellow. This is gonna be the core of our flaming experience. And only the very closest will get the yellow treatment. Like so. And then of course on top of that the bright white, which we want to, more or less not choke things with. Except we want to make sure we get all of Spider-Man's eye. And then of course his other eye. His other eye might need to be slightly less white, so that it doesn't compete with the flamey eye. Ooh, don't overlap the flamey eye with your white. And then we'll do the other eye in a slightly darker white. Tonal correction, hue saturation, blah blah blah. Let's brighten that up a bit more. Yeah, see, it's just weird with that full-on white. I think I'm gonna have to contour it or something. Oh, you know what it is there's no like shadow on the white, and the eye would have some shadow on it. So we're gonna do the same eye we did on the other side, and then we're gonna take this red, very light. There we go. Except given the way the light is going, it would definitely be lensed out that way. Instead. And do a little bit of tonal correction, make it a little lighter, little lighter, little lighter. A little more saturated. There we go, and we have a weird pink eye spider. But that's fine. That is fine. I think it's fine. Alright, well, that will be it for the hour here. I'm just gonna finish up a few more things and post this, I think, because, or post it. Haven't updated my website in forever. I should update my website, and I will in the near future. But this is going to be it. This is going to be the last one I'm going to do for the Spider-Man, unless, there's a huge request to see me finish him. In any case, I hope you all enjoyed. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Leave a comment if you want to see me mash up another character with a different style. I think right now I don't have a front runner on what people want to see, but I'll start asking around. I think there was something about doing a Mass Effect character, but or species, but I haven't gotten a style to match up with that yet. So, without further ado, I will sign off here and hope you all have a good Sunday. Thanks for joining me.